Alright guys, before we move on in our experiment where you're drawing your conclusions, you have to know how to do that first. And so what I want to do is first introduce to you what is a CER. Okay, so that's what I want you to put for your title in your science journal. What is a CER? And this is how you will draw your conclusions and show what you've learned from an experiment. So let's go ahead and split our page up. CER. So we have enough room to write about each part. Alright, so the C stands for claim. The E stands for evidence. And the R stands for reason. Alright, so going back up to the claim. The claim is going to be, I'm going to write this in a different color, just so it stands out. What did you learn? Okay, so this is going to be where you tell me what did you learn. So, you're going to use your hypothesis. We called it a prediction, but it's the same thing. So use your prediction, restate the question, and state what you found out. Alright, so let's do that, just that first part for our experiment, okay? So I'm going to go to a new page because I don't have room on here, and I ran out of room on this one. I guess I can do it. I'm going to draw an arrow. I can do it on the back of this one, okay? So I'm going to write CER. This is my CER. It's where I draw my conclusions. So it said that I need to restate the question, right? Restate it, and we're pretty good at that. We do that every time on our UPSC. So, I'm going to say when I tested, and you can copy mine this time. You'll eventually be doing these by yourself. When I tested which ramp height would make the car go the farthest, comma, I discovered. You need to tell me what you found out. I discovered that the 12-inch ramp was the best. Period. That's the C part of the CER. It's just telling what you were testing and what you found out. Okay. Now, the evidence, okay? The evidence is, how do you know this is true? How do you know this is true? Okay, how do you know this is true? This is where you're going to tell what information in your experiment proves your claim. All right, this is where we're going to tell what information in the experiment proves your claim. Okay, we need to make sure we include it all. Okay, so let's go over here. We said our claim is that when we tested which ramp was the best, the 12-inch one was the best. Okay, and how do I know that? That's where I go back to the data I've collected. So, I need to make sure I tell all my trials. So I'm going to say for my 12-inch ramp, the car went 81 inches, comma, 70 inches, comma, and 75 inches. Now, I need to make sure that I include something about the 1-inch and the 6-inch ramp. So, I might just include the farthest on each of those and not list them all out. So, I'm going to say the farthest the car went on the 1-inch ramp was 14 inches, comma, and on the 6-inch ramp, the farthest was, what was it, 59? 59 inches. All right, so there's my evidence. I've made my claim. I've shown my evidence. Now for the reason. This is where I'm going to kind of pull in some of the things that I know. All right, so for reason, this is the why. I want my orange so it matches. This is the why. Okay, so I'm going to make connections between what I found and what I know. What I found and what I know. Okay, to tell why the results turned out that way. Okay? Make connections between what I found and what I know to tell why the results turned out that way. So it's kind of like in reading where you have to, when you're inferring, you tell what's in the book and what's in your brain to make an inference. It's the same thing. Okay, so what did I learn? I learned that this ramp was the best. Why in my brain do I think that this ramp was the best? Okay, so I'm going to say ramp 3, hold on, the 12-inch ramp was the best because, why do we think it was the best? It had longer or further to pick up momentum because it was up higher. The gravity, maybe we can put something about gravity. Gravity had a longer time to be pulling it down, to the earth. Okay, so the 12-inch ramp was the best because it was higher, so gravity had a greater effect when pulling the car back down to the earth. Okay? So, this is my conclusions. When I tested which ramp height would make the car go the farthest, I discovered that the 12-inch ramp was the best. For my 12-inch ramp, the car went 81 inches, 70 inches, and 75 inches. The farthest the car went on the 1-inch ramp was 14 inches, and on the 6-inch ramp, the farthest was 59 inches. The 12-inch ramp was the best because it was higher, so gravity had a greater effect when pulling the car back down to earth. Alright, so that is how you write a conclusion for an experiment with all of your parts, your claim, your evidence, and your reasoning behind it. We're going to be working on another experiment pretty soon, and I'm going to have you maybe try one of these. I might do the next one with you also, because these are hard. I know in my previous district, then the kiddos, this was how they were tested. After an experiment, they were given all the data, and they had to write one of these by themselves, the 5th graders. And so I'm not sure here how the 5th graders, if you do a lot of these, but this is something you need to get good at when you're doing experiments, to be able to explain your results and your reasoning behind them.